Actually, most people that Hong Kong is a global center or original center of martial arts cinema or film. So how do you see the Hong Kong's martial arts culture compared to that of mainland China or maybe around the world?
Well, first of all, the martial arts culture of Hong Kong comes from the mainland because you had over time and history many great martial artists come to Hong Kong. But because for many years the mainland was not open to the outside and you had the inability to have films go out, the Hong Kong cinema world has been the center of the Kung Fu cinema world. And now what I want to do is I want to bring that back. Why I said today I want to do a Kung Fu film that has real martial arts in it, because we have so many great martial artists here and so many skilled people. I don't want to see strings and people flying around. And when Bruce Lee led the re-emergence of the Hong Kong cinema world, when he came back to Hong Kong from Hollywood, he insisted on actual martial arts. There were no strings, there were no special effects. And I really want to bring out the best of our Chinese culture to the world once again. And therefore I wish to see us, through our film production in Hong Kong, we're using many mainland stars and Hong Kong stars and many real martial artists. Let the world see the real Kung Fu and bring more people here to experience Chinese culture in both Hong Kong and the mainland, across the whole Greater Bay Area. And I'm so glad the Greater Bay Area is coming together and sharing all of the incredible culture. We've got great martial artists in Macau, in Foshan, in Hong Kong, and bring everyone together and spread that to the rest of the world. That's what I'd like to see happen.
You studied at CUHA. How did your time in Hong Kong influence your views on China and on this region?
My time in Hong Kong made me appreciate the power of Chinese culture, and particularly the power of Chinese entrepreneurship. Because at that time, in the mainland, they were beginning to open up and open the economy. And I remember as a student at Chinese University, in the late afternoon, I would read a book and watch the sunset over the water, and the train from Hong Kong would go up to Luohu. And Shenzhen was just beginning. And I went up to Shenzhen then, and there was no construction, it was just a village. But everything was beginning. And it was actually Hong Kong investment that led all the investment in China throughout the 1980s and still through the 1990s. Hong Kong was the major investor in the rest of the mainland. And really it was Hong Kong people's entrepreneurship that was inspiration to so many Chinese entrepreneurs. And I really believe that it's the Chinese creativity, entrepreneurship, and ability to face change, because I've witnessed in Hong Kong so many stock market fluctuations, so many economic crises over my years, and I've always watched the Hong Kong people get better at what they're doing and overcome crisis. And now I think with the greater integration of Hong Kong entrepreneurship, Macau, and the Greater Bay Area, I think that this whole region is going to be an economic powerhouse for the world.
Yes, wonderful. Another one is Hong Kong stands the intersection of East and West. And what role do you think Hong Kong can play in the global dialogue of understanding China?
Well, for that reason, I was invited to become vice chairman of an organization called the Hong Kong Association for External Friendship Relations. 香港对外友好交流协会，我是副会长，而且我副会长是 receive the position with the portfolio for cultural exchange. So that's why I'm spending my time a lot more in Hong Kong, working on Kung Fu movies. We're also talking about a Kung Fu museum. There's a lot of things that we're working on right now to try and be able to go through Hong Kong and spread China's culture to the rest of the world and let more people from the rest of the world come here and appreciate this culture and understand it.
Yes. So how can young people like today, just like you, find their own way to like understand China, promote China, tell good Chinese stories, that kind of stuff? Do you have some advice for them?
Well, you asked me why I'm very rock,
Yes.
摇滚. A lot of the films I do, we use rock music with some traditional elements, not the traditional way. I'm also launching the 九龙门 fashion brand, which is very punk. Actually, all these things I designed. And why do we do that? Because whether you're practicing Kung Fu as a sport or as a physical 修炼, actually it represents a culture of people who want righteousness and respect. And with so many people in the world, young people having, 狂躁抑郁症, manic depression, which has become a pandemic,
Yes.
largely created by excess dependency on social media. Through more and more of us actually having real interaction through music, through rock, through rap, and through a lot of what I call the subculture, not underground culture. That sounds not as nice as subculture. Subculture is something that means it's an expression of a new generation reaching out to find itself. And I believe Kung Fu in many ways can be an umbrella for a new generation subculture.
I hope I could learn some martial art in the near future, like to release my pressures.
Definitely.
Definitely.
But don't beat up your boss.
Yes.